You know, I think deep down inside of all of us, we knew at some point these kind of videos would be coming out when it comes to OCRP. OCRP has been a very special experience for me personally. They've been around for a long time, 8 years, roughly. Actually, I think at the time of the server closing in February of 2026 will be 8 years. And although I haven't been a member of OCRP for all of those 8 years, I have been a viewer. I have been a follower. I have been a fan since the very beginning of OCRP. And even before OCRP, with Jeff, Bugs, Ryan, Dave, you know, the content that they were putting out before OCRP. And then when OCRP was created, it became this whole new thing. And I remember when they had announced that they were creating OCRP and they started making content and stuff on OCRP, I remember how quickly, I guess, fell in love with this server and this community. Around that time, I can't remember exactly what I was doing. 8 years ago, that would have been what? 2017, right? 2016, 2017. I had just gotten my CDL and started driving. I was at that time, I was in a relationship with somebody. And we were kind of moving towards that marriage point in our relationship. And I was driving a truck over the road for a hazmat company at that time. As time went by, I continued to watch OCRP and became more and more of a fan. And there was a time where my marriage was falling apart, and my relationship and my mental stability, to be honest, was really falling apart. This was right around 2018, 2019. And I was in a really low spot in my life. And my marriage ended at the end of 2019. I was on my own after 5 years. I was on my own again. And I was in a really bad place mentally. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you have depression or you struggle with acceptance of things that happen in your life. We all go through it. We all go through it. But I remember OCRP was kind of one of those things that I always held on to as my entertainment, as my escape from reality. And it really, you know, watching the content from everybody in OCRP really helped me get through that tough time in my life. And right around that time, I'd started live streaming, and I started putting out content on YouTube and live streaming on Twitch, and started to make a lot of new friends throughout my time creating content. And I had always missed the open applications for OCRP. For some reason, I was always busy doing something, or I just completely missed it. Something happened, and I always ended up missing the opportunity to apply for OCRP. Cut to the last open applications, which I believe was, what, 2 years ago now? Year and a half, 2 years ago? Something like that. I remember I was watching, who was I? I was watching Boom. I was watching one of his live streams, and I had heard there be talks about the applications being open soon. So I kept tabs on the whole situation. And then when it went live and open, I mean, so many people flooded the applications. Like, it broke the system. And I was like, well, shoot, I'm gonna be like applicant number 6,000 or something by the time I can get in here and apply, right? So I just said, you know what, whatever, I'll go to sleep, get up in the morning, and I'll try to apply again. Luckily, I was able to get my application through. Then obviously, you know, it took a while for them to get through all the applications, understandably, because there were a lot of applicants. I mean, a lot. And so I just continued being a viewer of OCRP. Discovered a lot of new streamers and content creators in OCRP, and just continued to be a viewer. I had gone back over the road driving a truck for a while. I was kind of finding myself in another low point in my life. You know, depression is one of those things that just kind of, it comes and goes. You know, we all go through it at some point, some more severe than others. And I remember seeing that my application had been changed into the status of, you know, in review or something. I can't remember exactly what the status was. It was interview or interview status or something like that. Anyways, I remember I had gotten on there and I saw that the status had changed. I was like, oh, this is great. It's great news. I got all the information, the invite to the application, Discord, and all that stuff. Got joined up and got through all of the onboarding process. And I was still over the road at the time, I believe, when I finished all of that onboarding. And then I came home. And then I kind of went in and out of playing on the server a little bit here and there, get on, make a character, play around for a little bit, and then be off for a little while. Cut to the Life server being launched. I was super excited because I actually prefer this type of server over like a 5M menu, V menu server, right? I enjoy the cubicore kind of setup, more realistic life simulation type of server where there's actual jobs, there's an economy, and your actions actually matter to your character. Not that it didn't matter in the V menu servers. You had to use a lot of creativity and a lot more imagination in that kind of a server, which is great. I enjoyed that too. But this kind of a server really draws out my creativity. So when this server, the Life server, was launched, I was super excited. I finally was able to get in to the Life server, started creating a character, and then I started live streaming the OCRP stuff. And I think the first character that I had was like Kevin Watkins or something like that. You can look back on my streams and see which one it was. Didn't really like that character too much, so I ended up getting rid of him. And then I created a character named Bobby Brownlee. Now I still have that character. And that Bobby Brownlee character is kind of what started to draw some eyes to the channel through the live streams. And you know, he had this real thick smokers vocal sound, southern accent from the swamps. You know, Swamp Man Brownlee from the swamps of Florida, the Everglades, you know, down in Vice City and all that, right? Because GTA 6 and everything is coming out next year. So that was kind of my thought process behind this character. Now, I still have that character, and he will be making an appearance at some point in the future, whether that be on this server or another server. And then I created maybe a couple of other characters, didn't really like them. Then I created this character that sits in front of you. This is Zane Rev Reigns. This character really started to boost my live stream numbers, right? Now, of course, it's not about the numbers and all that stuff, but you know, when you start to see those numbers increase and do better over time, it's a great feeling. And this character kind of started to do that for me. And the location that I'm at is very significant to this character. This is the 024 gas station in Strawberry, Postal 139. And this is where I hooked up with the Ride and Dirty gang, and Craig and Jerry and all those guys, and kind of started to really move things forward with my Zane character. And you know, we've had our ups and downs with Zane. A lot of money, a little money, no money, back to a lot of money. Zane loves cars, by the way. And we got our Z behind us here because this is kind of his iconic car that he's used. And so I figured coming here and starting and doing this video would be kind of fitting. And then I got my LEO tags and started doing some LEO stuff. Did my first rookie night. with LSPD and all that stuff. And then started my detective character. And that launched the Vinewood stab case, which I am putting together a video of all those streams, cutting the clips and everything together in like a full film kind of feature. And that really did good things for this channel. This video is dragging on, but I could go on and talk about OCRP and what it means to me to be part of this community, and just how special this experience has been, not just for me, but for pretty much everybody in OCRP. And I know, you know, other people may say that about their communities and whatnot, and I'm not discrediting those claims, right, and those feelings that they may have, but OCRP really is something special. It's something special. It's something that I don't think maybe it could be recreated in the future as far as like the framework and the base and the foundation, but the experience as a whole, I think, is something that will never be recreated. It's been a very special experience. And it sucks that it's ending, you know. And I have to admit, you know, selfishly, I hate that it's ending. I really do. But I also understand. I understand the time and the effort and the money that goes behind a server. It gets expensive, guys. Not just monetarily, but your time. So I understand. I understand the reasoning behind why they have decided to close their doors. And what does that mean for this channel? What does that mean going forward for this channel? I'm gonna continue to upload OCRP stuff until the closing, the sunset in February. I think it's February 28th, 2026. In just a few short months. I will do everything in my power to be here on the server at the time that it ends with everybody else. It's going to be a bittersweet moment. It'll be an emotional moment. And it makes me really sad, guys, that this server is ending. It really does. But moving forward, I'll continue to upload and live stream OCRP stuff until like I said, until the sunset of February of next year. But I have also accepted an invite to another server. I will expand more on that at a later date on another video. There's a couple of servers and communities that I have looked at. One of them that I have officially joined, and there may be a few others. And I've even considered starting my own server. But I don't know. That's a lot. I know, like I said, I know how expensive it gets, and I know how much effort it takes to run a server like this. So, with all of that being said, I guess at the end of the day, I'm still going to continue to upload OCRP content. I'm going to continue to upload GTA 5 RP content. And as long as 5M is around and there are servers around for RP that are, you know, QB-Core kind of based servers, even I guess vMenu servers, I'm not the biggest fan of those. I prefer more like this, like I said earlier. But until Rockstar closes the doors on 5M and maybe they launch 6M for GTA 6 or something, I don't know. We'll have to see, because Rockstar does own, you know, the 5M stuff now and Red M stuff and all that. So we'll have to see what they do with this platform. But as long as there are RP servers around for GTA 5 until communities start to pop up with GTA 6 for RP stuff, I will continue to live stream and upload GTA 5 RP content. Now, when GTA 6 launches, the content is going to shift heavily and focus on the main storyline and everything of GTA 6 and everything GTA 6 has to offer. I will be pre-ordering it, and I will be doing a live stream as soon as possible of GTA 6. Understandably, and literally everybody is going to live stream it or upload videos, but I'm just gonna immerse myself into GTA 6 and everything that it has to offer. Now, everything else on the channel, the horror games and, you know, other various random games, some story-driven stuff, some AAA title stuff, you know, all of that stuff is gonna stay. It's gonna continue to be a thing on this channel, and we're gonna continue to be, I guess, a sort of variety channel. But yeah, you know, like I said, I can sit here, I can talk all day long about OCRP and how special it has been to me personally, and just how much mental struggle this community and the entertainment from this community has helped me personally. And like I said, it's sad to see it go. And when we had the community meeting in the Discord, 2 weeks ago now, I think it was October 22nd was when we had the meeting. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it, sitting in a hotel room. I was out of town working, sitting in a hotel listening to this community meeting and reading just the flood of messages coming through the chat and hearing Jeff talk about everything with OCRP and the closing of it. And then hearing the admins come on. You know, obviously I want to thank all of the admins. I want to thank Jeff. I want to thank Bugs, Ryan, Bradley, Dave, Kim. You guys have been incredible. Medic, for all of the dev work that you have done. And anybody else in the background that's kind of worked on dev stuff and helped in running OCRP over the years. Massive thank you to everybody involved in putting this together. A massive thank you to the members of OCRP who have been incredibly welcoming and incredibly generous. And friendly and entertaining. And a massive thank you to you, the viewers, for keeping this alive, keeping OCRP alive with your viewership. I think that's pretty much everything that I kind of wanted to say and get out there. It's a bittersweet moment. It's a very sad moment. Emotional. And it's sad to know that it's coming to an end, but it's also exciting to know that there are new things ahead. And that's where I'm going to leave it in this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you guys so much for your continued support. Again, I want to thank OCRP. And all of the members, the admins and all the members. And with that, until the next video or live stream, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.